Alright, let's dive into something that's got the automotive world buzzing. Alpine's potential entry into the US market with its A110 sports car. Now, if you're like me, you've probably been keeping an eye on Alpine's moves, especially after their recent shift in strategy. What makes this really interesting is that Alpine, a brand known for its European roots, is now eyeing the American market, and not with an SUV, but with a sports car. Personally, I think this is a bold move, especially in a market that's increasingly dominated by SUVs and EVs. But here's the thing. Alpine isn't just any sports car brand. It's got a legacy, a heritage that could resonate with American enthusiasts. So, let's break this down. According to reports, the A110 is already undergoing crash testing in the US, which is a pretty clear sign that Alpine is serious about this. What many people don't realize is that crash testing is one of the most critical steps for any car entering a new market, especially one as regulated as the US. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about selling cars. It's about establishing a presence in a market that could significantly boost Alpine's global standing. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Alpine CEO Philippe Krief has hinted that the US could account for half of the A110's global sales. Half. That's a massive chunk, and it raises a deeper question. Is the American market ready for a French sports car? In my opinion, the answer is yes, but with a caveat. The A110 isn't just any sports car. It's lightweight, agile, and has a design that's both classic and modern. But what this really suggests is that Alpine is betting on the emotional appeal of a sports car in a market that's increasingly practical. One thing that immediately stands out is the powertrain question. The current A110 is gas-powered, but Krief has confirmed that the next-gen model will be electric. This is a big deal because it positions Alpine at the intersection of tradition and innovation. Personally, I think this is a smart move. Even though EV enthusiasm might be waning in the US, an electric sports car could still capture the imagination of enthusiasts who want performance without guilt. But here's the kicker. Alpine is estimating global sales of around 350,000 units per year. That's ambitious, to say the least. From my perspective, this number feels a bit optimistic, especially for a niche brand entering a competitive market. However, what makes this really interesting is that Alpine isn't just relying on the A110. They're also planning to bring SUVs to the US by 2028. So the A110 could be a Trojan horse, a way to build brand awareness before the SUVs arrive. A detail I find fascinating is Alpine's distribution strategy. They've reportedly been in talks with AutoNation, but it's unclear if they'll set up dedicated dealerships. This raises a deeper question. How will Alpine ensure that the A110 gets the exposure it needs in a market where brand recognition is everything? In my opinion, this is where Alpine needs to get creative. Maybe pop-up showrooms, maybe partnerships with luxury brands, something to make a splash. If you take a step back and think about it, Alpine's move to the US is about more than just selling cars. It's about challenging the status quo, about bringing something unique to a market that's often dominated by the same players. Personally, I'm excited to see how this plays out. Will the A110 become a cult favorite among American enthusiasts? Will it pave the way for Alpine's SUVs? Only time will tell. But here's my closing thought. Alpine's entry into the US isn't just a business decision. It's a cultural one. It's about bringing a piece of French automotive heritage to a market that's always hungry for something new. And if they play their cards right, Alpine could become more than just a car brand. It could become a symbol of what's possible when tradition meets innovation. So, what do you think? Is the US ready for Alpine? Let me know in the comments below.